Oh boy, Mortal Kombat 1, Chaos Reigns. My genuine, honest thoughts about this. I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but I'm just gonna jump straight into this. This video won't be very, very long. I recently beat the Chaos Reigns story expansion, and I gotta say, I want to love this story with all of my heart. I was super, super hyped going into it. All the cinematics look so, so good. And I love this franchise. I really, really do. But I just want to get this out of the way. I don't like this story. I really, really don't. Surprise, surprise. I feel like most people are hating on this. By the way, this video will contain spoilers for the story, so if you haven't beaten it or haven't experienced it, seen it, watched it, whatever, please click off the video, come back at another time, a later date. Just experience it for yourself if you want to, but although you can also just skip right over it, pretend it's not canon, you know, that whole sort of thing. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I would say it's relatively bad. It's not the worst story in the world, of course. Just overall, I don't care for it. I don't really like it, but I've seen worse, but I've also seen a lot better. The base game is way better. I just wish we could go back to the days of where Mortal Kombat wasn't all about fan service, and they cared more so about the story. Like games like MKX or MK9, for instance, actually had a genuine good story to go with fantastic gameplay. But this game, it just really feels like they just half-assed it and rushed it. It felt like an Invasions season, but just prolonged. The story, in my opinion, was also way too short. I feel like I played through it in just a matter of like 3 hours. Maybe it was longer. I'm not sure. I didn't exactly time it or anything. But I want to say Aftermath was even longer than this, but I could be wrong. Please let me know if I'm incorrect. Let me know if maybe it's just I'm nitpicking because it's been a while. It's been what, about 5 years or maybe 4 years since Aftermath came out. So I could be completely wrong. I'm not sure, but that's just how I personally feel. Although like I said, I could be wrong about it. Um, Another thing was just the fights felt extremely repetitive in the story. Well, not all of them, of course. What am I saying? There was just a couple of times where they just had you fight the same character 2 times. I think it was like 3 different instances. But there's only like 11 or 12 fights total in the expansion, so having 3 out of 12 of the fights be repeated was strange because they very well could have just changed it around. It didn't really feel like it mattered. Nothing in the DLC really feels like it mattered though. Another thing, just Titan Havoc. Titan Havoc as a main villain should have been way better than it actually was. And what I mean by this is that he is supposed to be a cleric of chaos, right? He doesn't really do anything that's all that chaotic. Like, all he does is he changes Bihan to Noob Saibot, and then he has you go through an underground maze to fight for his amusement. He doesn't really kill off. Actually, nobody dies in the story expansion from our timeline that actually matters. The only people that die are just DLC fodder from other timelines. Not DLC quite all the time. There's of course other characters just like Rain and Tanya and whatnot. Also, that was really stupid how Rain died. I don't I don't think he should have died the way that he did. He Rain, what was he? He wasn't the keeper of time, but he was like somebody in charge at the moment. He's like the right hand man of the keeper of time, I think maybe. And he dies trying to keep these doors open, and that was really weird because can't Rain just make portals? Or maybe it's different in Havoc's dimension. Maybe the magic in there is preventing him from escaping that way, but who knows? It's not that serious because, you need it for story reasons. You gotta have suspense. Also, speaking of Tanya, what happens to Tanya? Like, what does she do? Does she just go back to her timeline? Does she not care about Titan Havoc? Was she there in the final fight? I don't think she was. I think she just disappears off screen. but maybe she had some more important business than saving the different timelines. But who knows? I could be wrong. Um, Now, circling back to Noob Saibot and whatnot and Bihan, I'm not really a big fan of how they presented Noob Saibot's first appearance. Because when he shows up, it's supposed to be like a big dramatic reveal, like, oh my god, look what happened. It's Noob Saibot. He returned and he's no longer Bihan. He's ascended to this, or maybe descended to this big demon of anger and chaos, and he's supposed to be like a menacing presence. He's beat in the first fight that you do against him. I believe you play as Tanya, and he automatically loses in the first fight that he showed off in, and now he's automatically knocked out, and now he's taken in and being worked on, and that's it. Just a single fight, and he's gone. Like, why? Like make this story have more suspense, like build it forward, have more runtime where he's Noob Saibot, but no, they don't do that. Most likely because of time reasons, and they're probably stuck to a very tight schedule by WB. But for $50, I really do think that the runtime should have been way longer because that's the price of almost a full game. And all we got was the story and other content. The other content's great, by the way, like Towers of Time, Sector Cyrax and Noob Saibot, like all the new cosmetics, everything like that. It's fantastic. I love all of that. But this video, we're focusing on just the story itself, not the other content. And another thing that I really did want to focus on, that I think is really important, is the ending of it. Um, it's not the worst ending, but I feel like this story has done more to confuse and build more suspense to the sequel because nothing is really resolved. We don't know what happened to Titan Havoc. We saw his arms and legs get ripped off and now they're not regenerating for some reason. Maybe I missed something there. Let me know if I did. I would love to have some kind of resolve towards what happened to Titan Havoc because it doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe I didn't catch something, but Titan Havoc isn't dead. I don't believe he's dead. And Noob Saibot was taken in, and Sector is not going to be getting persecuted for her actions, or maybe she is because she's supposed to be in charge of the Lin Kuei in the meantime while Noob Saibot's out of commission. But then we saw in her latter ending that she goes and rescues Noob Saibot because she doesn't trust Liu Kang with his body. She doesn't think that he's being healed, which is really weird. That's just building more suspense and tension. Cyrax had a cool ending. She joins the Shirai Ryu underneath Wei Liang, which is fantastic. I liked that. That was cool and all. That was enjoyable. But yeah, Noob Saibot, like I said, got captured. He's gonna be getting healed, but then he got broken out by Sector, so there's more tension there. Like, it really builds a lot of tension in this DLC for what they're going to be setting up with in maybe a sequel game, Mortal Kombat 2. I really hope it's not called Mortal Kombat 2 because that would be really, really confusing trying to differentiate the old one from the new one. It's like a Call of Duty instance all over, and I hate that. I want things to be called separate names. I'm getting off track. I'm getting sidetracked here. Yeah, anyway, Noob Saibot has that, and it really does build up for either a sequel game or a second story expansion, which I think is very well possible that we'll get a second story expansion in like Combat Pack 3 or something like that. It would be really nice because I would like for this game to have a really long runtime. There's a lot of future fixes that could make it even better. But cycling back one more time to when Noob Saibot was defeated immediately, something I also wanted to express was that Scorpion was also defeated immediately. He wasn't like put out of commission or anything, but there was the fight in the beginning where you play as Cyrax and Sector and you beat Scorpion, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me because Cyrax and Sector are underlings of Bihan at this time. And isn't Scorpion stronger than Bihan? So, in return, wouldn't that be like Sector and Cyrax could even beat their own Grandmaster? Like, that doesn't really feel like a fantastic writing decision. I know Scorpion wasn't being out of commission, and Scorpion was He probably wasn't holding back because, he's being attacked at his own wedding. Like, he should really be going all out to protect his woman in that moment, but it doesn't really feel like he is. But that might also be another nitpick, but there's just a lot of nitpicks that I have with it that makes me feel like maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe, like, this story really is just that bad. I've seen a lot of other people complain, like True Underdog and whatnot. So clearly I'm not crazy in thinking this. I know there's other people as well that are extremely underwhelmed by this, and the price of $50 for a story like this and other content that's not too much content yet, at least. We're getting 3 other characters, and I'm sure we'll get a bunch of other cosmetics and whatnot for those characters in the future. um but like I said, I'm focusing on Chaos Reigns itself. The other content is great. I actually do like it. It's a very welcome addition. But the story is important. A lot of people care about this story. And this expansion is, it's really, really, really underwhelming. And if I had to rank it, I would probably give it, for just the story alone, probably like a 3 out of 10. Maybe a 4 out of 10. It's not the worst thing ever, but it is definitely below average, in my personal opinion. But that's really all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed my tangent. I just had to get that off my chest. I wanted to rant about this because I'm very, very passionate about fighting games, and especially Mortal Kombat, because I've been following this game franchise for over a decade now. I've played all of them for the most part, besides for some of the spin-offs, and man, it's really, really disappointing to be this hyped for something and to just be extremely underwhelmed, especially with a price point of $50. Granted, like I said, there's other content that's fantastic, but the story really is a huge focus on Mortal Kombat. A lot of people love the story in Mortal Kombat, and man, it's almost like that they need to reboot this again, even though they just did that. But without further ado, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.